I wanted to do a video on how to smoke some pork butts, what I've learned and how I deal with it. I start off with a few charcoals. I've done some modifications to my grill, my smoker, because it needed it. So real quick, put in a little heat shield for the top there, a heat diverter, and completely removed the center right here, sealed up the bottom, and then put in a really big smokestack here and sealed up the back vents, moved the smokestack from there over to here, and just things like that. So what I start off with is some charcoals, and then I put in 2 pieces of this size split wood. Here, let me grab a piece, like so. Take this, set one over on top of there, like that, and then I put another one in right at the very end here, like that, to get that one heated up and ready for a to put it over onto the flames and get it smoking. So that's how I start things off, putting one there, putting one over there, and it should be ready to get going. The split has only been in there for about a minute, and it's already starting to catch on and starting to heat up quickly and catch fire. I'll leave the door open on the end, and I'll leave the top open until it really gets going and really starts to catch fire. Because of the small firebox, I have to take and put a new split on every 15 minutes or so, or just check the fire every 15 to 20 minutes. And I'll remove over here on the right, I'll remove that one because it'll be nice and hot and ready to ignite, and I'll move that over onto the fire and then put another one over there to get it to heat up. And so I'll just keep going with taking the one from the right, replacing it with a new one, and put the right over on the left hand side to keep the fire going. When I bought the wood, it was very, very large chunks and very large splits. So I had to take an axe and split all of them to the size that I like them at. And anywhere around this size, but no larger than this size here. So, which, right there. So I try to keep everything in that range right there. It's now been less than 5 minutes, and it's doing really well, flaming up. So I'm ready to close the top door and get the smoker up to temperature. Oh, so now what I'm doing is I'm scoring the fat and making sure I get down far enough that it's almost touching the meat, or it's touching the meat. And every 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, I score it again. And then that it's good for putting the rub on. There we go. There we go.
Okay. And then, nope, salt first, right?
And Now I'm going to salt it. Normally I put rubber gloves on. Got distracted. Salted that one side, now I'm salting this side. Hit all the outside edges. And you can put as much or as little salt on it as you want. And that's plenty for me.
Okay.
Now we go to the rub. And my wife mixes up the rub for me and puts it in a container. So then I go and start putting the rub on. My family really loves this rub, so I put it on liberally and we rub it in on all, pat it in, and all four sides. There we go. That one's all done.
Okay, number 2, huh?
Yep, this one here, I pat them all down, dry them down some, and then cut them.
This is so good. I like to tease the kids and I text them and say, look what Dad's making. Then I get the text to follow. What time's it going to be done?
So today, to bring it up to temperature, it needs 2 logs. All right, so I need 2 of them going in there at one time to bring the temperature up to where I want it to be. Now my temperature by the upper thermometers here, I need temperature gauges need to be at approximately 300 to 325, which then using the iGrill, my grate temperature will be right at about 225. There's about 100 degrees difference between the top one and the internal temperature right at grill height. Today it looks like it may end up being about 300 degrees with the top temperature gauge, and then the bottom, the internal temperature should be at about 225. I don't know if you can actually see the very light blue smoke coming out of the stack, but this is what you're looking for, is a very small amount of light smoke coming out, not billowing white smoke. I'm now ready to put the pork butt on. I've got a temperature gauge right there, our temperature probe right there, and I'm going to now put the pork butt on. So now I've got the temperature probe in the correct position. I've got one in one of the pork butts, and now we're all set. They're both about the same distance back from the front edge and ready to go. It'll take a little while for it to get back up to temperature. Once it does, I'll be monitoring it, making sure that I'm getting the right flow of smoke and that it's not peaking a hot temperature or a low temperature. It's been 2.5, almost 3 hours now. Temperature is still, we're running right at 325 right now. Internal temperature, there's the little flame, but it's been staying nice and hot. Now there's the smoke right there. And now we're gonna go and look inside. Ooh, wow. Okay. So we've got, looks like there's the temperatures have been staying between 225 to 235 on an average. The peak again was about 250. The low was about 180. So we're not doing too bad. Again, trying to keep the fire. I've checked it probably at least 10 times by now. Every once in a while the flames will go out or the piece of wood will stop burning. It'll just be charcoaly and have some heat, and it'll need to be turned. I just had to do that. Temperature dropped. I just turned the log, the split. It was doing nothing. So I had to turn it, and there it goes, right back up into flames. So it looks like we're somewhere around 3.5 hours. Yep, 3.5 hours it looks like. And ooh, look at there. Nice. Looking really good. I'll do it for another hour, maybe another hour, and then I take it off and wrap it in foil. I'll show you that. And after I wrap it in foil, put it into aluminum pans and stick it in the oven, 275 for another 3 to 4 hours, and we'll have some really tender Boston butt. All right, it's been 4.5 hours, it looks like. So now I'm going to check it, and it was, yep, that's the last log that I'm gonna use. And oh my, look at how gorgeous those are. All right, so I am now going to pull these out of here. I was looking at the chart, and there was approximately 12 different spikes and drops that I had. So that's when I open up. So 12 to 13, maybe 14 times I opened up the firebox in 4.5 hours, and had to add logs or had to work the fire to make a change. So now I'm taking these out. I've got some nice big aluminum foil. I'm going to wrap them up in. Yes, there's a nice bark on it, and yes, it looks beautiful, but I really like to have them super moist and tender, so that's why I use the foil. A lot of people love to use the brown paper, the butcher paper. I like to use the foil. It keeps it really moist. All right, I got to lift this and put it into that really quickly so my hands don't. Okay. put this on the foil, and I try to remember where fat side is. Fat side up. So there we go. There's the fat sides up. Now I have to roll it. And so that's fat side up. And now I'm going to fold this up. Try to keep all the juices in. Fold that up like that. And then fold that over like so that I remember. There we go. That's the top. Ooh. Nice. Beautiful. Again, fat. I put the fat on the top and make sure that I know. Roll these down. One, two, and this should be the fat on the top now.
Yep.
Now both of them are ready to go into the oven. Stick them in these trays, because the juices all end up all over the oven if you don't.
Okay, we just put them in the oven. And they're going in at 275.
Okay, they are done. Temperature was at 200 or 205 on one of them, 200 on the other. They've been resting for a little bit. Now, this is the reveal. Going to open it up and show you what it looks like.
Okay.
All right, so here it is. Here it is. So when I put the probe in, it goes in like butter. It literally just goes right in. It's like there's nothing, no resistance. It's like you're pushing it into butter. There's the bone. You should be able to take the bone and grab hold of it. There's the bone. Look at that.
Comment below if you like this recipe. Let us know how yours turned out. Thanks for watching Hobie Farms. God bless you and have a great day.